Don, what's up, brother?
I'm here.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Gosh, man, you left me hanging.
Yeah, I know. I'm the worst.
That's all right because I'm processing so much. I learned so much. A whole nother world. Like I knew of it, but man, I learned all kinds of terminology.
Yeah, it was. So our guest for this episode is an old friend of mine, Jewelissa. We talked about her journey from school, performance, clowning, burlesque. She's teaching now. She's the director of community engagement for the Philadelphia Burlesque Academy. It was such a fantastic. We could have talked for maybe an hour longer than we did.
So much charisma and heart. Did not disappoint one bit. I knew going in. I had a feeling going in it was going to be that, but it was that. And so much more.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to belabor this. I want to get right to it.
Introduce her, my brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the clubhouse, Jewelissa.
Ow! Why are we already laughing, dude? We just started.
Did you just say 3 dose 1?
Yeah.
You counting as a... All right.
Yeah, that's 2 in Spanish.
I got it.
Oh, you did? Comprende?
I took 7 years of Spanish. I know at least what dose is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed.
I don't know anything past that,
okay.
but
there's nothing past that.
Yeah. Well, there's trace.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry,
that's
it's all
7
coming
years.
back to me now. So, yeah.
Brother, you brought in, first of all, welcome to Clubhouse, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to the clubhouse.
Don has brought in a very special guest that I'm really stoked to talk to. I can already tell she has amazing energy. Don, will you please introduce our guest?
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Jewelissa.
Oh, let's see if I get the right button. Hey,
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
This is live. Jewelissa, thanks for coming here. Sam, it has been, was it 14 years? 14 years? 11 years? 11 years. 11 years. 11 years since I've seen this person.
Oh.
And it's we did theater way back in the day, and have done so much since then. Like we just got to get into it.
Yeah. Well, let me preface this by saying I let my preteen know that we were having a burlesque belly dancer here, and he was just losing his mind upstairs. He's looking through the window. Oh my gosh, she's drinking Prime. I drink Prime.
We're the same.
And you too can belly dance.
Yes, that's all you need.
So that's like so the first time that I caught your some of your performances on Instagram, like you were doing primarily belly dancing, I believe. So what got you from hot old Baltimore to belly dancing?
So I actually belly dancing came first.
Oh.
So I like a lot of millennial Latin folks was in love with Shakira. Okay. So I learned it. I was just like mimicking movements back then, and then I started taking classes in probably around that same time, 2013, 2014, and I was performing with a troupe as well. So I had like the movement in me, but I didn't really take it like to the next level, I guess, until around that time period, and it's been history ever since.
Are you self-taught?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I would do movements, you know, like when you you learn by seeing and like mimicry, but I got formal training like in my late 20s.
Okay.
Now, did you do any dance prior to that?
I did color guard.
Okay.
I did color guard. That was my dance background.
Okay.
Honestly, I had 2 left feet prior to that.
What is color guard?
Color guard is
marching band.
For marching band.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where I spin flags and sabers and stuff.
So that didn't prep you probably too much for the belly dancing, or did?
It gave you train very rigorously for it because it's like competitive dancing. Like you get a point off for like breathing incorrectly. So,
Yeah.
Whoa.
and like how you recover because you have to like lock everything in. So I was a part of Pennsauken High School's marching band, and we won states in 2009. And the training reflected that. So it was very,
Wow.
it was actually really intense.
Yeah.
But it prepped me.
Yeah.
I could not dance. Anyone who knew me back then knows I could not dance back then.
So someone who does have two left feet, such as myself, like it is possible to learn still.
Yeah. I learned in my 20s how to dance.
Okay.
I learned in my 20s.
What if you're in your 40s? Not too late.
Absolutely not.
All right.
Yeah.
You can do it, man.
I can belly dance.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
Dance
to
is
see
really
that.
good for your brain
Yeah.
too. It's like very
How so?
because it trains both your left and right hemisphere because you're using your creativity and you're using your motor skills at the same time.
When it comes to belly dancing, how much of it is improvisation versus actually rehearsed?
So, like if you go to the roots of belly dance, it's mainly improvisational. Like, choreography is a Western concept, so that wasn't introduced until like European countries. So everything was really improvisational, because it's the music is the focus, not the dancer is like accentuating music, and then when you have live percussion or live music, it's kind of like a dialogue between dancer and musician.
Oh.
Now, so much of belly dancing seems to be like about isolating, like isolating different parts of like your hips, your stomach muscles, and stuff like that. Was that hard to train, like that aspect of belly dancing?
Honestly, no. I feel like it's a stim for me.
Okay.
It's like I like some things. It feels like you're doing that where you pat your head and rub your stomach.
Wow, you just did that really well.
Because
I'm impressed.
Because you have to isolate different, like your brain has to keep track of, okay, my arm is doing this, but like in different movements, like when you ride a bike, that's what you're training your body to do. My left foot stays in opposite motion of my right, and we move this way, and it's a little more intuitive that because the bike is kind of working with you.
Yeah, and you're kind of
creating
doing
a
the same
mechanism.
movement with both feet. So I have to imagine that's easier as opposed to you just breaking out the belly rub head. Like I could try all day. I can't do it. Were you always able to be good with both sides, or is it through your belly dancing
It's
that
through
you?
there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I really like enjoy about it, because I do I enjoy that part of like understanding like that like brain body connection
Yeah.
to like I'm aware of my body that much to be able to like isolate, which is pretty cool.
What do you guys mean by isolate?
Like if you're just like only one finger or only like here or only like one hip or
Okay.
like, nothing else moves, only just that body part.
And so you said you were. What do you mean? Like you were performing with a troupe?
Oh, I was performing with a troupe. They were Las Serpientas, and it was run by an old friend. She goes by Queen Urelli. She is well known in the salsa scene, the South Jersey salsa scene. And she was my mentor for a very long time, so she taught me everything, a lot of what I know. And then I kind of made it my own. I have my own style.
Do you have a name for that style?
I don't. But
Okay.
I just call it fusion.
Fusion.
Yeah, it's just fusion, but you have to be aware of what you're fusing. You know, like it could be ballet fusion, but
Yeah.
belly dance is technically made up of like many different cultural dances, like from Egypt, from North Africa, from it's Manat, so it's Middle Eastern, North African, Hellenistic, which is Greek, and then Turkish. So it's all of those combined technically.
Okay.
But primarily Egyptian rock sharky, which is based in it's based in Egypt. Like
Egypt
Cairo.
Rock Sharky. That's a cool
Egyptian.
name.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. So when you're talking about your own style, like for a couple of one dummy at least. How would you? I'm talking about me. Brother. He's looking. He wants to fight. No, me, man. You're the genius here. So, like, how would you describe your style if you can put that into words?
I think my overall style is, well, for I guess dance. For belly dance, it's a little different, because I try to maintain like cultural awareness when I do belly dance. That is like my style is a little more slinky, a little slower, very fluid. And then when I do like burlesque or other styles, it's a different.
Oh, you do something completely different for that style. Okay.
It's different context.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
So you got into, so you were doing belly dancing, performing. We talked a little bit before Sam got here, and you had mentioned that you had also gotten into clowning. So like, what led you down that path, and where did you get your training in clowning?
So I learned. I went to Drew University for a year because that's the longest I could afford it. And I really fell in love with like the theater department there because it was the first place where I was even exposed to clowning. Like I didn't even know. It was the first place I got exposed to Hispanic theater. Like I never even knew that existed. So there was like a lot of teachers from like NYU or Columbia, and I learned with this one person, Catherine. I'm gonna mess it up. She does the Institute for Clowning up in New York. I believe she's the president and the founder. And I got a red nose with her. And she like blew my world open, really, like, because I always loved like Drew Carey growing up. Drew Carey is someone
best.
completely else.
Yeah,
Someone
Jim
completely
Carrey,
else.
the best.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And Drew Carey is Whose Line?
Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Well, I also loved Whose Line Is It Anyway. So that's
so
probably
good. I saw it live once. It's so good. You did too?
Yeah.
That's a big like inspiration. I love clown. I love like yes anding.
So you literally mean like you learned how to be a clown?
Yeah, when we talk clown, it's like physical comedy, like Three Stooges, like slapstick comedy. So like physical comedy, meaning like when I was graded on my clown, I could not talk. I was not allowed to talk. I had to get up there and make them laugh.
So
Truly.
what do you do?
My clown. So your clown is never what you want it to be. Unfortunately.
Oh my God. I'm getting nervous thinking about that.
My first clown, her name was Donna, just Donna. Apparently she was neurotic. And the only way that I would make people laugh is when I started to cry because I was trying so hard. I was trying so hard. And then I would just be like, and that's when people would laugh hysterically at me because that's when I got to the truth.
Yeah, it's the real stuff.
I got to the truth. I was just like, I just try so hard, and no one's gonna laugh. It was very fun, though.
Yeah. That sounds like a great time. And do you put like your clowning into your
in my burlesque all the time? Yeah.
Are you able to give like an example?
Yeah, I can. So I did a competition in Philly. I'm not going to mention it because I'm not giving them kudos.
Oh snap!
And there was a week where I created a Wawa act. So it was a Wawa wedding act, and I used a song because Wawa, I think it was right before lockdown, where they created an album, and they did like a whole visual album too. Like they did music videos for every single song. There was like a Taylor Swift-esque song, there was like a rock song, there was like, they did like all over genres. And my friend, shout out to Rita Brujeria, was in one of those music videos, and she there was a song about going to a Wawa to get married. And that she falls in love with the guy behind the counter, like making her sandwich. And so it was for anything but clothes, so I had to create my outfit out of like household items, and I did it out of Wawa wrappers. I made a wedding dress. A wedding dress with a corset, a working corset.
Wow.
My friend helped me. My friend Lindsay helped me. And I got married to a hoagie at Wawa. So I do this whole, and I have like the saran wrap as like my veil connected to two coffee lids. Yes. Oh, wow. And then I had like a coffee cup, a Wawa coffee cup, and they like actually I had to go to a lot of Wawas to get wrappers because I had to see who would give them to me. And
Did you explain? Were you like?
I did.
You did.
I did. And
I
said,
would have
I'll
given you all of
shout
them.
out your store number. I said I'll shout out your store number if you let me have these. And the one maybe I shouldn't say which one gave me the Wawa wrappers. Would that?
Oh, they might get in trouble. Yeah, no, a little advertisement. Nothing wrong with that.
But so it's this whole thing where I get married to a hoagie, and I like when he starts to sing, he puppets out, and then it's a puppet where he's singing
hoagie
along
puppet
with me, and then we consummate the marriage on stage because I'm just so in love, and that is the act.
Wow.
That's the act.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's my clown. Like,
Yeah.
like I just go stupid. I always go like, okay, and then what? Okay, and then what? If this is true,
Just
then
as
what's
silly
true?
as possible.
Yeah.
So what got you like? All right, it feels like I don't know. We're jumping a little bit, but like I want to know like what that progression was. So you went, you did like a year. You learned clowning stuff. What got you first involved with burlesque?
So I saw a burlesque show at Union Transfer. There was a pinup photographer named Celestiano, and she did this show every year called the Pinup Peep Show. And at the time, the Philadelphia Burlesque Academy wasn't a thing, but there was a troupe called Peekaboo Revue, and they did shows at World Cafe Live a lot. And they would historically.
Is that Mika Romantic and
Mika Romantic is. I think she was involved like as a guest performer, but Mika is like her own thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong.
I'll look it up later.
So they would perform, and I saw a bunch of folks from Peekaboo Revue on that stage. It was 2014 or 15. Everything happened at the same time. And then soon after that, Ginger and Cherry Bomb and Sophie, they all opened the Philadelphia Burlesque Academy. And I was one of the first students at the Philadelphia Burlesque Academy. I took their first act development that they offered. I was in the first cohort. And so I was with them since then. I made my burlesque debut in 2017. Fall of 2017.
You remember your first act?
Yes, I still do it.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. It's getting a revamp right now, but I still do that act.
Yeah, I always find I love that neo burlesque. I guess we'll call it neo burlesque. Is getting so much of a still gaining popularity. Like I went to go see some burlesque shows, and we had talked about it with another episode. Probably about that time, I saw some shows down at Philomoka with like Liberty Rose.
Oh
and
yeah,
Kate Nix and all, yeah.
I love Kate Nix.
Fantastic performer. So it's I love that there's definitely a power behind the performance, and there's also that the comedy that's built into a lot of the acts is what I really appreciate. Like I saw this whole Beavis and Butthead act was incredible. So we're talking a little bit about how
I want to see that Beavis and Butthead act.
I think there might be videos on
I think
YouTube.
there is actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
So like I'm assuming that the clowning really helped, with this whole burlesque performance. So where do you draw most of your inspiration for performance?
I kind of like go with it, get an idea and run with it. I like getting a prompt. I actually did really enjoy that. But a lot of stuff is kind of like, especially recently, is just kind of like what I'm going through, I guess. Kind of like tortured artist type of stuff. But I also try to like make light of it. So like recently, one of my clown acts that I did, oh boy.
Lay it on us.
The last clown burlesque act that I did was for my friend Layla the Delicious. She's a Palestinian performer. and she runs a show with my friend Cyrus K. Stratton. They call it Liberties, so they do everything like activist style burlesque and drag. And so I was a part of their show in February, and I did an act where I was Jeff Bezos. And I wore the bald cap. It was pretty great. And I came out and I had like an Amazon shirt on, and I did Self-Made Man by Larkin Poe. I did a singing strip for it, and I was saying I was a self-made man, and then I kept like pulling stuff out, like showing where I got all my wealth, like that.
Yeah.
His parents gave him $25,000 to start Amazon when it was a book company. So how self-made really is that? So it was like all these things, and I was pulling stuff out of like Amazon packages. I pulled out a Gatorade bottle full of urine, and I was just like, heh, and I tossed it. And then on the back of my shirt said Mars or bust. And so I had these little red balls that were presumably Mars, and I told people that whenever, like the host said, whenever you feel the need or the urge to chuck it as hard as they can at me. So I was there. I was like, however, because it was a time, like, especially in February, a lot of people were upset. So I was like,
Sure.
okay, we need a vehicle for this anger. So I'm more than happy to be like to channel. And then by the end of the act, I was making fun of him. And so when I did my reveals, I went down to a diaper, and I had a pacifier, and I was like, no, I'm a self-made man, and I swear to you all, I'm self-made, I'm so successful. And I was a baby throwing a tantrum at the end of the set.
Wow.
And everybody was like, boo, yay, question mark, and throwing things at me. And because some people were my friends, they were like, you got like anger out of me. And then I had to look at you, and you gave permission, but I chucked that thing right at you.
Wow.
And it was very fun. Like, I'm also very inspired by like guerrilla theater, or like theater of the oppressed. Like anything that's like a live showing of, I always think of like there's that woman where she I think it was in New York, where she was like, you could do whatever you want.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I think of that all the time. But because it was
that?
so,
I forget the artist's name, but she basically had, she was standing next to a table, and then people could do whatever they wanted to.
what would people do if they had the permission?
Yeah. So at some point, people would like cut off her clothes. They cut her with a knife.
Whoa.
Somebody put a gun to her head.
What?
Seriously.
Yeah. Seriously.
Seriously.
You know, and she's standing there like, so you see some shots where she's obviously
Just
like
crying.
you know, because just the cruelty of like normal people.
But it's like a psychological. It's kind of like it's kind of like a test to see like, okay, if given absolute freedom to do whatever you want with your human will, what will you do? And then she recorded those findings.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was intense. But I don't know if I could put myself in that type of harm. But
Yeah.
I think about like, if we're talking of art as like a vehicle for like self-expression, sure. But like, what does it mean to show like social conditioning, or like, what does it mean to show like resistance even? Like I throw all of that into my art. I don't think that they need to be separate from one another. So I'm kind of a boundary pusher, obviously, but it's what makes everything that I make is like a reflection of like the time, and because that is what art is. It's a reflection of the time and the people that are living in it. And I think about that a lot.
I had no idea there was this much creativity in burlesque.
Yeah.
I always thought it was a really cool dance kind of thing. I didn't realize you could put that much theater and that much storytelling into it.
Burlesque was kind of like it was a cornerstone for me, because I felt like I had so much like random knowledge. Like, I was in color guard, I was in belly dance. One of my specialties is fan veil. And like a lot of like my training does come from like my marching band days. Like I know how to do formations. I know how to do all those things. And then I have a flow arts background. So it just felt like once I found burlesque and my place in burlesque, everything, all the random shit that can I curse on here?
Yeah, please.
Please
do.
All the random shit that I knew, like it just kind of like went whoop, right into one. And I was like, now I have a place to do it all. I can do anything that I want. And it makes my inner theater kid, my angry inner theater kid, very happy.
Do you feel like that's like the burlesque community is kind of where you found your people, so to speak?
Yeah, like all of my queerdos, all of like my weirdo artists, like everyone really cares about their art. They like it is a lot of queer nonsense, but it is
what is it?
It's queer nonsense. It's just a bunch of like weird nonsense, but also like it's a powerful testament to like all of the performers, whether they're doing classical or if they're doing neo, if they're doing nerdlesque, even like everyone's
What?
Nerdlesque is big.
What is nerdlesque?
Nerdlesque is like Nerdlesque is emanating a character. So they have Bob's Burgers burlesque. They have Beavis and Butthead burlesque is technically
Star
nerdlesque.
Wars, the Star
Wars.
Wars burlesque. There's this all like fandom stuff.
Yeah.
There's a big superhero one, which is the one that I first caught the burlesque during the Philly Comic-Con.
Yeah.
They were tying in with that.
Ever a pro wrestling one?
Yeah, they do. They
for
just
sure.
did. It was Tasselmania.
Oh,
They did
no
in New
way.
York. They did in New York. They had one down here as well.
I wore tassels one time.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not me.
Well, I agree with my friends when we say that pro wrestling is the burlesque for straights.
Okay. Hey, so I am a burlesque dancer in
Rock
my
on,
own
man.
way.
There you go.
I'm the burlesque champion over there. I got my belt.
Yeah, you've got your singlet instead of instead of a pasty there.
Because it's storytelling.
Sure.
It's comedy. It's like. And then you guys have reveals? Like, come on. Like, you guys, y'all have reveals and cool outfits. I look at pro wrestling outfits as inspo for my costumes. Not going to lie to you.
Wow.
I do.
Man, that's so cool.
You two have very much in common.
Yeah, no doubt. Wow. We have to put on a show, huh? Man. So, okay, out of all the... First of all, like, how often do you come up with new routines? Are you like doing one routine and perfecting it over a year, or are you like every time you're doing it, you're trying to do something new? How does that work?
I think it depends. Like, I'll always do like a draft of a new. I won't put all of my all into a new act. I'll kind of like, what's the draft version of this? I'll have a relationship to it for like, I'll see how it feels after like 2-3 times. Do I like it? What don't I like about it? And kind of like I have a relationship with all of my acts kind of in that way.
How much of like how you feel is based off of the crowd reaction versus just your own inner like that felt good versus it didn't feel right?
I think it's a little even now. I think before it was very skewed for what the audience wanted. Because I started out in clown and now I'm doing a little bit more classical, but that's just because that's where I'm at, like exploring as myself as an artist. So it's kind of a both thing because as an entertainer, especially like if you're making money entertaining, you have to keep that in mind. You are hired for entertainment, so you have to keep the audience in mind. In my opinion, people might feel differently than I, but if I'm especially like I've done like more well-known gigs. Like I've done Lunar Fair. I've done Hour Fest with Philly Pride. I've done some for like Beard Fest. Like those bigger tickets, I'm going to be like, yeah, I need to bring my A game. I got to bring the tricks
And for
out.
one of those, do you just break out one of your like solid performances that you already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll likely do Fan Veil because when people see the way that I do Fan Veil, it's very different than what other people have normally. If they have any
I can't remember. Did we mention what fan veil is? Because I'm not sure.
I don't think we have.
All right.
yet, no.
What is fan veil?
So fan veil, it's actually based off of like Chinese fans. So if Chinese fan was originally for fighting, where they would have the blades on the end of it. So Chinese fan and Chinese fan veil. Chinese fan veil has a silk on it. So if you have like a regular fan and then you kind of like glue a piece of silk to it, then it has like loft. It can move, and there's like a lot of storytelling that can be done in that art form. But I came into it as a belly dancer and as like a flow artist, and flow arts is like, it has its own like vocabulary as far as like movements and stuff. So I kind of come at it from multiple angles, and trying to also keep it in mind that it did come from like that, like how in Chinese culture it was meant to be like as a weapon. So like the strikes and like the opens and closes, that's why they're very sharp and like you can hear them.
Yeah.
So I do that.
And that's one of your like solid performances.
Yeah,
it's always a winner.
Yeah, I'm known in like the area for that.
You just did a performance. Was it yesterday?
Everybody thinks I performed, and all I did was flow in the middle of the street with my friends.
I don't know. You had a crowd. You had a crowd
I did,
going.
Though it was fun. Yeah,
you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram this morning.
It has almost 300 likes.
Nice.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But
you just break out performances in the middle of the street?
No, so like that's how I meet people. So I really like the flow arts community. Like if I bring a prop with me and I find another like people who are hooping or they're doing like levy wand or poi, and I'm like, hey, you want to flow? And then most of the time they're like, yeah, because that's what they're doing. So we're like in a music area, and then
just street performance.
We're just like flowing with our props and dancing. And then other people, because they're like, oh, what are they doing? So we were on like 13th and Walnut, I believe. And we like met up with two folks, like a performer that I just only like followed on Instagram. And it was the first time I ever met her, from DMV area, and her friend. And we were just like, hey, me and my friend who also performs, shout out to Carestville. We were just like, she had her hoops with her and I had my fan veil, and we were about to flow. And then we saw two people just getting up and flowing. And then it was four of us just dancing. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So you have these flags.
Yeah. That was what I brought my Pride ones for that one, so I could get like good footage.
I heard it was super crowded in the neighborhood.
I thought it could be more crowded, to be honest. But
wow.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So she's like twirling them around, kind of like what do you call those things from marching band or whatever?
I like flags.
Yeah, flags. Flat. How do you pronounce? Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm a fast performer, so like I'll just keep going.
look at those things go.
I love how you can control like the shape of them.
Yeah.
Like, from open and close, and they still.
Oh, that was so cool, yo! It's shot. So she brings both the flags together, and right as they hit the camera, the video's over. That was cool.
That was a great cut.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I teach that at the Philadelphia Burlesque Academy. It's like director of community engagement, and I also I was like, she was like, what title do you want? I was like, this one, please.
So as director of community engagement, how do you engage the community?
I'm still kind of figuring that out because it's been like 2 months, but I've just over the years I've heard like what people want. Like what people want and like their experiences of burlesque, because there's always going to be like gaps, because we have a lot more. There's a performer and a teacher that I really like respect and love. Her name is BB Bardot out in DC, and she describes this current era of burlesque of like a lot of neo. She says a lot of diversity and little oversight. So we just there's a lot of things like we ran a costume swap in, oh my gosh, what month is it? A couple months ago. I don't remember. But so like if people don't have money for like glitzy costumes, that we're trying to just like like share resources and
Right.
like it was more than that where it was just costumes. Like I did props, I did wigs, I did anything that you could think of, like sewing stuff. People brought like just like garment bags, which is like a big help because otherwise you're just kind of carrying things in a duffel bag to a venue.
Yeah.
But just trying to find ways where we can make it like accessible options. Like I do a lot of like hybrid stuff with video, so being able to offer like hybrid classes, like stuff about like history, enriching the community where it's more than just like showing up at a bar for your friends.
Right.
Because how does one make I'm a proponent of that. Yes, we can commune around the alcohol, but it's also very good to not commune around the alcohol.
Sure.
And to have like good you just know you won't know what you'll find in commonality with another performer until y'all are in a different environment
Sure.
doing something
Sure.
different. So right now I'm just like kind of figuring it out. I've heard like different recommendations, kind of also like having a feedback loop with the community, seeing what other like how can we partner with the drag community? How can we partner with like with other organizations that are like that are helping like queer and trans individuals, especially right now. So like Galay, we love to partner with because they're also in our neighborhood.
What's it called?
Galay.
What is that?
They're a queer trans BIPOC organization that's based in like the Kensington Fishtown area, and they provide like they help with like medical help. They'll help with like if someone's encountering houselessness, like stuff like that, where they really try to be like a lifeline for like the queer and trans community in Philadelphia. And
when you say you partner with them, what does that mean? Like
we see how we can help them. Sometimes we'll raise money, like fundraise, or like even with the costume swap, anything that we thought might be useful after the fact. We also donated to Galay because they have a costume closet on site. So we provide like a bunch of like costumes that like drag individuals can like peruse and like look through. Still like in the midst of how we can better partner with those organizations, but again, I've had the title for 2 months. But yeah, just like trying to think of like how we can have community and have like mutual aid and how we can help one another, because the one thing drag and burlesque ain't is cheap. It is not cheap.
I was going to ask you about that. First of all, man, I got to say, this is why I love the show. This is like a world. I mean, like, I didn't know any of this stuff. She's breaking out so many words. I want to keep asking, like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't want to be annoying. I'm like, there's a whole world I didn't know about. So, yeah, when it comes to the costumes, like, are you always on the search for stuff? Do you make your own? I heard you say so. Like, are you creating your own things?
Things that are, in my opinion, easy to make. Like I could make a circle skirt for sure. I can make a panel skirt for sure. I cannot make a whole getup. But I'll like, especially like I thrift like 80% of my wardrobe. So I'll like when I'm out, I'll go look to see like, does this thing have a cool fabric that I can reuse? Does this thing, like, if I take the sleeves off, what will it? Oh no! This goes with this other thing that I have. Like, if you thrift, you have to have a thrifting mind. Like, that's just a different mind to have. But I, like, for my one act, my Fanvale act, like, that's my, it's like my burlesque thesis, I guess. And that one, I spent a nice pretty penny for my friend Ignacia to make that outfit for me. And it's gorgeous. It has the reveal. My fans are built into my skirt. So everybody thinks that there's nothing. And I go and pull them out. It's very cool.
How does that work? Like built into the skirt?
Yeah. Ignacia does costume magic. Yes. No, they're like hidden. They're like two little pockets. Like in my skirt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and
then,
you break them out.
Yeah. So it's kind of like two sleeves that they built in there. But
do you actually ever use the ones with the blades, by the way?
I really want to get trained in that.
That's probably smart.
Yeah, I want to get trained in that. I want somebody who knows that well and like the cultural background to teach me. I have yet to find an instructor.
I was gonna say that's probably a hard
so if
thing.
anybody knows someone who
I'll
can teach
ask
me.
around. I don't. Don, do you? No.
No.
Okay.
Not off the top of my head.
I know nunchucks, but
But I really do want to learn that. But yeah.
yeah. What's your favorite style? Like I saw. Okay, so when we were watching that video earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was that? Like a kind of like a leathery kind of skirt or something?
Oh yeah, that was just like a regular skirt that I had in my wardrobe.
Do you, I mean, like I'm assuming you switch it up for every act, but like, do you have like a favorite
style?
Yeah.
I call my style Italian Jersey Shore gaudy mom meets 80s rock star.
Ooh, that's cool. I like that.
That's because I have big earrings. I love animal print. Like I layer. I'll do cheetah print on zebra, on giraffe. On,
I got the whole jungle.
Yeah. I'm a maximalist. Like I really like color. I really like mixing things together, like jewel tones, hence the name. But it's really like maximalist Italian gaudy mom meets from like preferably Staten Island.
Do you come up with your
people.
Do you come up with your own name, or is it given to you from
my burlesque name?
Yeah.
My burlesque name's actually from my high school drama teacher. That's how he used to spell my. That's how he used to spell my name. And so, shout out to Mr. Boyce from Pensacola High. Yeah, he gave me my name a long time ago, and he was just giving me like a quirky nickname for me, and like. Other people, like when I debuted at the Burlesque Academy, they were like, "Don't you want two names?" And I'm like, "I kind of just want to be like Cher, you know? I kind of just want to be like Madonna. Like one name to remember, one name for other people to remember putting their phones."
Smart.
Yeah.
So, which was something weird that happened during the pandemic, was that two people messaged me on Instagram asking me what would it take for me to give up my handle. And I was like, it's not happening, babes. Like, I've had this handle for a very long time, and my brand is built around it. And you are...
Were they offering money?
Not at first, really.
Okay.
And then they were like, well, what about money? And I'm like, I still don't think, like, I'm not even willing to entertain this conversation. It was very random. It was so random. It was weird. And I think it was just like a kid, to be honest.
Do you mind? I want to ask, like, do you encounter some weird fans doing what you do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Unfortunately, I do.
Yeah, you know, like I was talking to Don, I was like, I tried to like message you to meet you on Instagram, but then we were talking about, I was like, God, she probably gets a lot of weird messages on Instagram, so she's probably not going to look.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I can say on this podcast about that.
Yeah, but I guess you just got to deal, huh?
Yeah. I like.
You got to learn them sharp fans.
Well, for a while, I had like my DMs open, and then like it's now if I don't have you added or you don't have me added, it's harder.
Yeah.
Because I got like some weird people.
Just dropping in there, people. Huh?
Yeah, because especially when people come to their first burlesque show, like since like the human body is so poo-poo, like they see like a human body and they just are like, what is going on here?
Doing things they never saw before.
And then they're just like, and then people, like if they don't know etiquette, like they don't know how to keep, some people don't even know how to keep their hands to themselves. So it's kind of just like,
You guys have security?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't play that.
Okay.
We don't play. And like the host will also be like, if you want me to, they're like, if you don't want me to come and like bone rush you, like, keep your hands to yourself. And if that is also what you'd like, that's a negotiation for after the show. Like that is not for people to just be taking liberties with.
Hey, so Don and I were talking because actually, believe it or not, you're not the first burlesque dancer. You're actually our second.
Ooh,
and when
the first?
It's a ghoul.
Alexandra Gould.
Alexandra Gould. Do you know her?
I don't know. I know of her. I don't. Think
Okay, out of Smithville.
She does a lot of stuff down at is it Bar 13?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, down in was it?
That's what my is that what I'm saying?
Putting you on the spot.
That's Wilmington. I think.
Yeah,
Wilmington,
Delaware, right?
Yeah, that's where she lives.
Yeah, but no, when she was here, I was like, this is a world I don't know anything about. But like, I really want to go to a show. Don and I were talking about going to a show one day. So if I'm going to my first one, where I will behave, don't shake your head, brother. So if we do go, like, do you have a recommendation? Like, what should one go to for their first show?
Oh my gosh, their first show.
Yeah.
There's so much good burlesque in the city. It would be really hard to like.
Now I'm like, and
narrow
you're
down.
really like, you're getting me interested in like the ones that put on a whole performance. Like I am a pro wrestler. Like I love big characters. I love big shows, you know, and I just think that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, I think it's like actually that's great that you brought up that point, because I think there's a lot of different types of venues too. For like, there's like more of stage venue, and then they also have burlesque where it's like in the middle of a bar or a restaurant or something like that. So it's like just a burlesque performer doing their act while walking through the crowd.
With the first one, a stage one, I don't know.
That would
Like,
be. We would
seems-
categorize that as a theater show, which means there's a proscenium stage. So if there's a proscenium stage or like a proscenium setup where it's like the audience here and the performer here and everybody kind of stays there, we call that like a theater show. And then we call the bar shows where you're walking through our restaurant, we call that a floor show, because you have the whole floor as the stage.
Oh, interesting.
And then we have also like DIY. So like any I feel like any scene has a DIY scene, and burlesque is not. Burlesque also has a DIY scene where they kind of just make burlesque. One of my like a friend, their name's Zany Thing. They did a show at a cat cafe. It was really adorable, where you could adopt a kitty cat and see a drag and burlesque show.
That's
very,
so
very
wild.
cool.
I really want to go to the cat cafe. I really do.
It's really
Maybe
cute.
that'd be my first one.
I think it's Get a Gato. I don't know where it is, but I can definitely give you the deets after. It's very fun. And Zany's a great host. Zany's such a good host.
What do you prefer, being on stage or doing the whole floor?
Right now I really like a floor show, because you have to, like, right now that's kind of what I'm exploring with like my deep dive in a more classic burlesque, I believe, is that doing a floor show where I'm like engaging with the whole crowd, that's way harder than being like, you all are there and I am here and I'm gonna and I know where I'm gonna walk. But if I'm like improvising in the moment and there's like someone all the way in the back who's giving me a lot of energy, how fast can I get to them to give them their moment? Or like building that in. So there's like a lot more like improv elements based on what the crowd is giving you, which is really fun. I really am enjoying those. My friends Iris Spector, who is Miss Hamilton Pride, the last one, she was the one with the blue iris. If you saw,
I think I've
you
seen
know
the
her?
pictures. I didn't go to the the show, but
Iris Spector and Bear Trap, they do.
Wait a minute, I saw them. Were they performing at the Eagle Theater?
I believe so. Yes.
I saw them.
And
Boy,
then-
did they call me out. I was the only straight dude there.
And
Boy,
I think they're doing the Haddon Township Pride because
okay.
that's this weekend,
Oh, they're
and they're
fun.
both doing it. I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, they're fun. They have their own show at a couple venues in Philadelphia, but they're a fun time. You get a really good. It's like a shorter show. They have like 3 performers in themselves, 2 or 3 performers in themselves, and they're a wild and fun bunch. They're a lot of fun. But there's so many shows, especially at like Frankie Bradley's, which is like the hub of burlesque and drag. That's where I like came up. That's where I debuted. There's a lot of burlesque history even on the walls. Like there are folks in the community that like Scott Johnson painted, and he has like them on the walls.
Oh, cool.
Which is really cool. It used to be, and then they expanded to Be West, and it used to be Sisters back in the day. So now they have 2 venues and like twice the amount of like stages now.
There's a lot of options.
But
I
yeah,
don't know, man.
I'm
We'll
always
have
gonna
to
say
discuss.
Frankie's.
Is there is there something that you've wanted to perform, or where do you find that is the next step for you as a performer?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I only ask good questions. That's why I'm so
I right now I'm working on like my improv and like my timing, like being sharp in the moment. I really want to get into hosting. I respect her. I respect her, and Maria Topcat are really great. Maria Topcat choreographed Kiki Boots at Ritz Theater.
Okay.
Just passed, and them two as hosts, and Bear Trap. I love how quick they are on their feet. Like it's like stand up in real time. Like, and they're really hilarious. And I think that's because I want to have my own like recurring show, and I want to get really good at that and being just like that on the fly. I want to be good on the fly. And I want to be sharp on the fly. You know, like I want to be really sharp and on the fly. And I think that'll elevate my. Because it'll take my skills. Like if I can improv all of my skills well, like I think that
you've got like a really good personality, like one that's like, and you've got big energy. Like I think it would just take some reps, right? Like host here, host there, and you just get better every time. God, I would love to host one of those. I think I'd be totally out of place, but I think it would be a lot of fun.
You never know.
Yeah. If you ever need a wrestler guy, like mix that in.
That's great.
Yeah. So you're teaching now?
Do you like teaching?
I love teaching.
What kind of people come to burlesque? Like what
Everyone.
age? Like okay.
Burlesque is for anyone. I've taught people who are like, obviously I recommend 21 older because it's a bar scene. And then I've taught people as old as like 65. Like
really?
That's awesome.
65. Just getting into it, just learning it.
Yeah, because it's for everybody, literally. I've taught all genders, I've taught all backgrounds, all movement levels. I've taught many different types of folks.
Do you find that people who are I guess getting involved with burlesque performing or taking classes are on a journey of self-discovery?
Absolutely. I definitely think it's they're looking for something that like would definitely be enriching. I think that goes for like any art, and it depends like what they're looking for. Like when I wanted to work on my spontaneity, I feel like that's when I was in improv the most, because I just wanted to be good at like being on the spot and sociable.
Hard.
Like if you want to learn social skills, get yourself in an improv class.
Yeah.
You're going to learn the hard way real quickly.
Yes, and?
Yes, and. Yes, despite. Yes, despite.
Yeah.
But I do believe that I commonly see in burlesque that people are like wanting a better like relationship with their bodies primarily. And like feeling good about themselves and their bodies.
So you don't mean like getting in shape through, you just mean like feeling comfortable?
Yeah, feeling comfortable in their skin, because you have so many images of beauty being thrown at you. So especially if you're like, if you have this idea of what's desirable, and then you go, like if you compare yourself in that way, if that's like the reflecting that you're doing, and you go like, I'm not desirable in burlesque.
Do you feel like it's still like, don't you feel like it's changing a little bit?
Nope.
No, really?
Ozempic's back, baby. Ozempic is here.
Touche.
So
yeah.
I feel like we're going back to Britney Spears 2000s.
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera low-rise bell-bottom jeans, baby. Like, so it's a yes and no. I'm gonna say it's a yes and no, because but then when you see somebody being celebrated like by the crowd and by themselves is so important, because people could be celebrating you, but if you're not taking the celebration, everyone feels that. Yeah. Everyone feels that.
Is that something you see? Like,
yeah, like I see that happening like in like people's brains, and like especially with newer performers, that's a lot of what is being told to me, even like that's their lived experience. So I I'm mindful of that like I'm also teaching in a place where it could be very vulnerable for my students. It could be very vulnerable what they're like traversing like internally and externally. So I like to make sure that I create like a safe container for them. Like I'm thinking about all the things. If they have I ask for feedback. I'm like, would you like to do it this way or would you like to do it that way? And people close their eyes and they raise their hand, and we do democracy that way. So, but it's really fun to teach folks because you can see the self-trust develop over time. Like I can see it happen in real time.
Have you had students who've gone on to do performances in front of audiences?
Yeah. That's part of like my role at the Philadelphia Burlesque Academy. I'm meeting a lot of folks in that in that season of themselves because we Gingerly and Cherry Bomb, they run an act development. So you take 10 weeks to develop an act, and at the end, you're doing the student showcase, and it's like the most supportive environment. Everyone wants you to win. Everyone is cheering you on. Everyone wants you to feel good. It's like it's really like the best first time you can do it. Really, it's everyone setting you up for success as much as they can.
So all these years into it, do you still get nervous?
Absolutely.
Yeah, every time.
Oh yeah. Like
what if there's like 10? What if the's like 5 people in the crowd? Do you still get nervous?
Yeah. I'll still get nervous because there are a lot of performers that says whether it's 5 people or 500 people in audience. Someone specifically said this, and I can't remember who, but you need to, whether it's 5 or 500, there's going to be a memory of you in their brain. So it doesn't matter if it's 5. It doesn't matter if it's 500. Who's in that crowd? You don't know who these people are, and you want to be lasting. You want to have a lasting impression, and you don't know if that's their first time, what that impression will be on them. So you don't want to cheat it just because, there's 5 people. Oh no, I have to take the trash out.
Churros are. I like your phone case.
Oh, thanks. Everybody thinks it's like French fries, and I'm like,
that's what I thought at first. I was like, oh, churros. It says it right there.
Do you find it easier to perform in front of larger crowds than smaller crowds?
Yes. A larger, it depends. If it's a big stage, no. Like I've performed on some big stages, where I'm like, typically there's an entire set on this stage, and typically there's like way more people taking up this stage, and to take up a stage that big in front of a lot of people, I think is very hard. It's a completely different ball game. But if it's just like, if it's like a comfortable amount, I feel at home. I feel at home performing, for the most part, when I'm in a good headspace. But I think that's real.
When you're doing a floor show and you like spot somebody that you want to connect with or thinks that they're really into it, and you approach them, and then you get the vibe like,
no,
they're really not into it. Like, how do you change directions?
I acknowledge it in real time. So I'm a goof. So if somebody is like, we tell people to be like this or be like, and I have gotten it. I've gotten it to where I'm like ready to give them my glove to help to do an audience, and they're like, I'm the wrong one. And then I have 16 counts to get the glove off. So I'll like be like, and I'll just like,
what do you mean your glove? Like literally a glove?
Yeah, like if it's a glove reveal, so like sometimes I'll like inch it off the knuckles so it's easy, and I'll have somebody else pull it for me.
Oh, okay.
And so if I give them the offer and they're like, I'm the wrong one, I'd be like, got it. And I'll acknowledge it for the audience, because then it's like everybody's in on, and it honestly doesn't, it makes it less weird if you are very honest about it.
Yeah.
Or I'll just be like, or I'll give it to someone else, and if they also I'd be like, come on, and I'll just do it myself. So you have to just kind of like go with it. You never know what you're gonna do.
No matter what. Yeah.
And being able to pivot like that. Like some people, it might throw them off. Be like, well, I only have 12, 10, 8, 6 more counts.
I'm curious about that. Like, I'm assuming everyone has their own style. I mean, that's obvious, but like, are there people who every time they go out, they have A through Z memorized? Or are there people who do that? Or yeah.
So I find that a lot of people, they'll have that in their brains. And it works for them. If it works for them, it works for them. Hey.
Yeah.
What I find is that over time, even folks that have like choreography, they'll still build in like, this section is my audience interaction. And then after I'm done with them, I have to go back beyond the stage because I'm about to do X, Y, and Z. So they'll budget like 48 counts, maybe even a minute. And it'll be like a loose structure, I suppose.
was just going to say, it sounds like it would be better just to be kind of loose and just feel it out.
Yeah.
Because I guess you never know how the audience is going to react.
But if there's like a big moment in the music and, the person's going to do like a drop split, then they're going to be like, I'll be right back. Boom, boom. And then...
Can you do a drop split?
Nope. I'm not the one for the drop split. It's not me. I'm the back bender with fan mails.
You can backbend, like you can go back and land on your hands?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But you can't? I did that. I used to be able to, and then like when I was 30 in front of my students, I was like, all right, let me try one. I hit it, and I was like, that's it. That was my last one. I got it.
Yeah. I used to be a lot more flexible than I am.
You gotta stretch out, brother.
I should take yoga or something like that.
Yoga is the best.
I really want to. But
or burlesque.
Burlesque.
Or just burlesque.
Yeah. I'd probably be better off for it. I should just do burlesque.
Yeah, dude. I could see you rocking that 80s, 80s.
I'd have a bow tie. Just a bow tie.
Yeah.
There are men in burlesque.
Yeah.
Are there?
Like the boylesque scene is awesome.
Boylesque.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. It's
Some
cool,
people don't
man.
like the distinction apart anymore, but it is boylesque, yes.
Okay.
But it's like
you ever do a mixed show like boylesque and
oh yeah, well with I do a lot of like mixed cabaret, so like and people audiences enjoy it more that way where it's variety, so we have like a bunch of boylesquers in Philadelphia.
Cool.
A handful, but they're still there.
Do you ever think that as time goes on you might like open I mean I know you're teaching, but like open your own school or continue down the teaching path? Or are you more into the performing path, or just keep not looking that far ahead?
I'm kind of one of those people that I like doing probably too many things.
Yeah.
So I like to have a variety.
So much.
I like to have a variety. So I do feel very enriched doing both. Like I feel very enriched being an instructor and then putting that down and then going and being a performer. And then I feel a lot of, I feel very full when I can put down the performer hat and then I can be more of like a community leader, or when I can put that down and I can just be support for someone else's show. Like
I can imagine that if you've been teaching someone since day one and they find themselves successful and everyone's cheering, they go back just thrilled. Like I see your face now. Like it must be the best feeling.
It's so nice. Like, especially when I have students that are like really nervous or like I love when I'm their first class. They'll be like, I saw this and I'm taking my first class with you, and I'll go, okay, the pressure's on, baby. Like I'm the first window look into burlesque. Let me get
and that
right.
first lesson, are you teaching them dance moves? Or are you teaching them?
Yeah, I'm teaching them choreo because I believe that oh my gosh, it's like that sweet spot of growth where it can't be too boring and it can't be too challenging. So I like to like feel folks out, and like I really focus on like the group dynamic, and I move as quickly as like I don't like to leave anybody behind. So I'll
very Montessori.
I'm
glad you understood that. Awesome.
I just try to like pace it out. Like I have my own pace and it's kind of fast, but like I try to be at a pace where people are like, oh shit, let me get my shit together. Yeah. But it's doable. Like very doable. It's very doable. It's like, because with me, they're typically learning a new prop for the first time, something they never picked up before. And I'm taking them from like 0 to all the way, but in 10 weeks. And people are always amazed by how much they learn in 10 weeks.
I was going to say, it's a short amount of time. 10 weeks.
And they're like, not only are they doing burlesque, but they're using a whole prop, and everybody is like timed up correctly. Like,
I mean, you guys know, like I do, like getting out there and performing in front of an audience, there's like really nothing like it. It's just so awesome. And to give people that experience who wouldn't normally, I mean, that's a special thing. That's very cool. I know we've reached an hour. Like I have one more question. Like, what is your go-to music? What is your favorite stuff to put on that, that best jam for you to perform?
I really like I like alternative like soul or blues. I really like right now. He's great, but like Teddy Swims type stuff, or he does oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know alternative blues. I know that was even a thing.
His stuff was used on a bunch of commercials.
Alternative blues.
Yeah, like alternative blues. I like alternative soul. I like a Saint. Oh my gosh! Of course, I'm gonna remember everybody. Saint Paul and the Broken Bones. I really like him.
Huh? No?
I mostly listen to podcasts. I haven't listened to any music.
I like sultry, like
But it's-
jazz and blues, like
That's cool.
modern
Okay.
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
or Led Zeppelin. That's also cool.
Oh, nice.
All right,
Did that
now
land?
I can
Did that land?
Yeah.
What song? Migrant or?
I really like Whole Lotta Love.
Oh yeah,
good.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, Mr. Don?
No, I think I mean, there's like at least an hour's more talk that we could have probably about this, but like I really appreciate you being out here. It's so good to see you again, and thanks for being on.
We gonna go to a show, bro?
Of course.
I do need to go to a show.
We,
Yeah.
we,
need to go to a
bro.
show.
Don't leave me behind.
Yeah.
Go
I
to
will.
a show or come to a class at the Philadelphia Burlesque Academy in Fishtown.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to promote or anything?
Oh, just the Philadelphia Burlesque Academy. We have all levels classes, not even just with me, but with Ginger Lee, Cherry Bomb, Adriana Poindexter, who teaches heels, Christine, and Samson Lindsay, who also teaches like funk and stuff. We have so many people who can teach you fun things.
And if
Very
somebody
cool.
wants to see some of your performances or anything, like how would they look for you on like social media and stuff?
I am Jewelissa. That is @JEWELISSA on most platforms if they haven't beat me to it, but most places I am at that, and I keep my social media fairly organized. So you right now, as we're recording this, all of my stuff is good for June. But
Very cool. And if some rando wants to host or pro wrestle out there, just cross his fingers, I guess maybe.
yeah, go to a show,
Okay.
talk about what you do.
All right.
Even with
Meet
like
people.
talking, meet people.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Network.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jewelissa,
All right.
thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank
And,
you.
bye, everybody.
See ya.